Kia ora koutou. My name is Tanya Overmeyer, and it gives me pleasure today to welcome you to our Otago MBA online webinar. A warm welcome to all of those of you who have joined us, and a special welcome also to our expert panel. Thank you all for being here today. The purpose of this webinar is to support your decision, prospective students, around joining our online MBA program here at Otago. We're going to provide information, we're going to provide stories, as well as useful behind-the-scenes insights. And this is all to help you make the right decision. Also, when you registered, you shared some questions with us, and we are hoping to answer those as well today in our focus areas section. A note that the session will be recorded and access will be sent to all of you who have registered. So there's no need to take lots of notes. You can just sit back and hopefully enjoy our company. One thing that I will ask you to do is to please post questions in our chat function. There's a team behind the scenes and they're on standby, so please keep them busy. Now it's time to meet the panel. I'd love to introduce Associate Professor Tony Gary. Tony is the Head of Department for Executive Education. He's also our MBA Director and teaches strategy planning on the MBA program.
Yeah, Kana koutou everyone, and huge welcome to this webinar, and thank you for your interest.
Welcome, Tony.
Thank you.
I'd also like to welcome you, our Professor Helen Roberts. You're the Associate Dean of Research, and you're also a finance academic. But for us, you're part of our teaching team and you present the accounting paper to our students. Welcome, Helen.
Kia ora, thank you so much, Tanya. Great to be here.
And now please join me in welcoming a very special guest. We have Cindy Tay joining us online. Cindy is a recent graduate of our online Otago MBA program. Welcome, Cindy.
Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be here.
Great. So everybody is going to answer a couple of questions for you today according to the following agenda. What we're going to address is why the Otago Business School? Why do your Otago Online MBA? We'll provide you with an overview of the Otago MBA program. Also, special insights into our application process and entrance requirements. And then we'll have a panel discussion on some focus areas that would be of interest to you. And then we'll end off with some concluding comments and any questions and answers. So that is our program for today. So let's get started. I'm going to ask you, Helen, please provide us with some more information about the Otago Business School. What makes our business school so special?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tony. Look, I love Otago. Otago is an outstanding university, the first university in New Zealand. We've been providing excellent education for more than 150 years. We really pride ourselves in our strong research ethic. We're the #1 research university in New Zealand. We provide outstanding teaching. Our students have amazing learning experiences here that connect them to the outside world from the very beginning of their degree until completion. We have opportunities to externally engage, do research projects with businesses live. We're inspiring tomorrow's leaders. We want to see our students progress out into industry and be really successful. And 96% of our students have secured jobs before they even graduate from the university. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Helen. I now would like to invite Tony to tell us more about all of the accolades of the Otago MBA program.
Certainly. First of all, it's the oldest MBA in New Zealand. So it was established in 1976. It's ranked #1 by QS, both the online and the on-campus within New Zealand. It's ranked #7 in Oceania, with the online MBA being ranked 37th globally. So some really great achievements. But perhaps the one I'd really like to flag is in terms of the criteria of classroom experience. So our online MBA is ranked #1 globally for the experience that the students receive while they're studying their MBA. And finally, in terms of the actual MBA itself, both on campus, it's ranked in the top 200. So we're absolutely delighted with that. In terms of how we the teaching structure or delivery of the MBA, it's taught over 2 evenings a week of 6 weeks. So each term is approximately 36 hours of study between 7 and 10 on a Monday and a Thursday, where our cohorts come together on a platform, state-of-the-art teaching platform called Engagely, and that really does provide a sound platform for interaction and discussion, sharing experiences, studying case studies, and coming up with solutions, and lots of interaction with each other and the lecturers. But in terms of the structure of the MBA, it's a generalist programme. We have two parts or phases to the MBA. The first phase is our compulsory papers. So all our students are required to study for the first part, 12 core papers that cover all the business disciplines, ranging from business law, marketing, transformational leadership, business economics, people and culture, accounting, investment in global financial markets, strategic planning for international markets, leading sustainable enterprises, international business, and strategy implementation. So very generalist in terms of that approach. For our phase 2, we offer students 3 potential options. The first option is our professional consultancy option, or professional consultancy engagement, as we like to call it. And this is where students have to address a real live organizational or business challenge or opportunity. So they act as a consultant, they really deep dive into the organization and come up with potential solutions and recommendations to a brief that they've negotiated with the client beforehand. So very much what we find is students choose to either do this on their own organization, or they'll choose an organization that they're really interested in working with, and potentially want to pivot into a different career or a slightly different path in terms of moving forward. The second option we can offer in phase 2 is what we call our intensive short courses. So each year around January, February time, we offer 6 intensive 3-day courses. So each course is 3 days. And we bring in contemporary business, if you like, focus areas. So addressing wicked problems with systems thinking, global supply chain innovation, finance for startups, public relations practice, selling to large global enterprises, and strategic project management. But what's really interesting about the summer courses is that we have a number of inward exchange students from a whole plethora of overseas partner MBAs. So ranging from Duke, Kelly, National University of Singapore, and so on. And they, as an online student, you'd actually come down on campus to do the papers. So lots of face-to-face interaction, not just with our inward exchange students, but also with our full-time on-campus students. And finally, the third option is an international exchange program. So we do have a number of students, both online and on campus, who each year select or elect and apply for one of our partner universities. So, next year we've got students going to Duke University. We've got students going to the National University of Singapore. Another very popular choice is Copenhagen Business School. And for the first time, we've got a student who's going to an MBA program in Mexico. So we're, very excited about being able to offer those opportunities.
Excellent. Thank you, Tony. I think you've really whet our appetite there, and I'm sure people at home are really interested in that application process. They want to know how to apply. So please, could you tell us more about how people can join our MBA program?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Tonya. Well, normal entry requirements focus on having a bachelor's degree of some sort or another, and a minimum of 3 years professional or work experience. So what the MBA is about is learning as much off your peers, drawing on their experiences, their backgrounds, their sector-specific insights, and sharing those as part of that learning process. So as well as a lot of middle to senior business people, we frequently have a whole plethora of people from different careers, such as orthopedic surgeons, firefighters, people from the energy sector and so on. So it's really important that you do have that minimum of 3 years professional experience. We then have, as part of the selection process, we have either the Otago entry test or a requirement of 550 at the GMAT score or 302 points at the GRE qualification. We do require a minimum score in IELTS of 6.5 or equivalent. So in terms of the actual application process, there's 5 key stages. So the first, very importantly, is go to the Otago MBA website, and there you'll see a form. And what we'd ask you to do is to complete the form and upload your CV as well, and any other relevant qualifications that it's asking for. But the form actually consists of some very general questions in terms of what your interest is around that. The next stage is to do the Otago admissions test. Okay, so a lot of students will opt for this rather than the GMAT test. So what the Otago admissions test comprises of is us sending you a case study a week prior to a mutually convenient test time. So you receive this test, case study, you go through the case study, you analyse it, and try and identify potential challenges facing the organisation. A week later, we have set aside an hour and a half, and you sit the test online, and you answer usually around 3 questions. And then the third part of the test is of the entry process or application process is the interview. So basically what we do, we ask you to choose a particular topic that's interesting you within the business world, and how it, why it interests you. And we ask you to do a very short presentation to us as part of an interview process that we have with the admissions manager via video conference. So once you've got to stage 4, we make a decision within 1 week of the interview, and then we let you know. And what we then ask you to do is to apply via the Otago MBA formal admissions process. So we create an account in eVision, what we call eVision, which is the university's application process, and then you complete your application, uploading all the relevant documents, but please don't forget to press submit. So, what we're looking at for the online key dates to bear in mind is the application deadline for our April 2026 intake, which is excitingly our 26th online intake as well, is April. So we have a rolling admissions process, which means we consider applications as we receive them. But we do limit class sizes. We're very precious about all the interaction and discussions we've mentioned. So to ensure that happens, we limit class sizes to 25. So please submit your application early so we can start processing it in terms of that. So fees, as I say, there's two parts to the MBA. Phase 1 comprises of those 12 papers, and they're $2,567 each, or a total of $30,804 for phase 1. And then phase 2, irrespective of which of those three options you choose, is $10,268. So that's a total of $41,072. But what we do offer is the ability to pay per paper. Okay, so you don't have to pay the entire amount up front. You can pay that $2,567 for phase 1 papers as you enroll for each paper. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Tony. We've learned so much about the structure of the program, and we've also learned about how to apply, some key dates and how much it costs. But I'm sure you're really interested in hearing about the story of an MBA journey. And for that, it is my pleasure to welcome Cindy. Cindy Tay, please could you tell us more about yourself, why you applied for the program, and what was your experience like?
Everyone, my name is Cindy. I'm currently based in Auckland, and I am originally from Singapore. I moved to New Zealand in 2012. I have 13 years of experience in marketing, mostly within financial services. So why did I apply for an MBA? To be completely honest with everyone watching, I wanted more money. And I'm sure many of you could resonate with this. The other reason as well was that I've been in marketing for a while and I was getting bored and I really wanted to look at something new and try something new. So I started an MBA for more career options. And the thing is, I actually did transition to a new field halfway through the MBA. So I moved from marketing into customer experience and process management. And that was how I also gave myself a little pay raise by moving jobs. And so what I'm doing now is I'm currently a communications and client experience manager at Milford. Some of you might have heard of it. It's an investment company. We are all over New Zealand and Australia. That's me.
Thank you, Cindy. Lovely to have you here and to learn more about you. Now, I'd like to ask you a very important question. Could you please tell us a little bit more about your MBA journey?
Yes. So, I was actually surprised by how much fun I had while doing the MBA. And because I don't actually like studying, so I wasn't really expecting much. But the way the papers and the curriculum was set up is all really practical, and you can apply it in the real world straight away, which is the most important thing for me. That while I was learning, I was also literally using it in my job. So that was pretty awesome. And also just the friends and connections that I was making. You really form this bond with people when you're all in the trenches together, because most of us have full-time jobs. And if you're doing a part-time MBA, you are also, working 40 hours a week and then spending time with family and trying to fit everything all together. And just having that kind of support network of people who are doing what you're doing alongside you is really awesome. And I definitely have made lifelong friends for the rest of my life. Just really good connections. And also a shout out to the people at University of Otago as well. The lecturers, they really just want to see you succeed. They are just here to help you. They're not trying to make life harder for you. They know life is already really hard, and they try to keep things interesting. And the staff behind the scenes as well, they help with admin, they help with any random questions you might have, and everyone just wants to help and see you succeed. And when you join Otago, you really feel like you're joining a family, even though it sounds really cliche and probably a bit salesy. So I'll stop here.
Thank you so much. We never get tired of hearing that, Cindy. Cindy, what did you choose for your phase 2 option and why? How was it useful?
For phase 2, I went with the professional consulting engagement. And the reason I did that is because, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not a fan of studying. So I wasn't really looking forward to doing more intensive short courses. And also, I wanted, being such a practical person, I wanted to do something that I could actually do in real life, which is with the professional consulting engagement, you work with a real client or a real company to help them solve a business problem or capitalize on an opportunity. So that's just on the ground work. You're working with stakeholders, you're working with the people in your company, and that's where I prefer to do my learning. But I do have to say that if you're someone who really loves face-to-face interactions in a classroom setting, then doing the short courses would be good for you. Or if you want some overseas experience, definitely consider doing some overseas exchange with the universities. I actually, being originally from Singapore, I did think about doing an exchange with the National University of Singapore, and then I could hang out with my parents as well and see them. But in the end, I just thought that the professional engagement would just give me the experience that I'm really looking for.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you a really difficult question now, Cindy. Cindy, if you had to choose just one highlight to share with us about the program, what would that be for you?
Oh, that is actually a really hard question, and there's so many. Um, I would say that the people is my highlight. And as I've mentioned earlier, just everyone that you come across while you're doing this MBA, whether it's your classmates, the lecturers, the staff at the university, the guest lecturers, or people that you have to interview for your assignments and people that you come in contact with. Everyone really just wants to help, and everyone's really happy to be here and to do this together. So that's definitely my highlight, being around people that's like me and just really equally driven and ambitious.
Thank you. Thank you, Cindy, for sharing those experiences. And we'll be talking to you a little bit more shortly. What we are going to do now is that we're going to talk about some of the questions that you've shared with us. So we've taken the questions you've shared when you registered, and we've compiled a couple of different focus areas. And we'll speak to these focus areas now and have conversations around them. So that we could hopefully also answer your questions at the same time. Right, so I think our first area that we're going to look at is about the academic expectations. I think a lot of you there at home are wondering, if I do an MBA, it's going to be a lot of extra work. How am I going to manage that? How am I going to manage all my different priorities? How am I going to juggle my studies in my already busy life? And yes, the workload is very demanding, but yet people thrive. So I'm going to go back to you, Cindy, and ask you, how did you manage to juggle all of your different priorities and responsibilities and still thrive?
Oh, the workload is intense for sure. It is going to be really hard. And the university actually does a pretty good job of preparing you for this and managing your expectations. So you kind of know that, okay, I'm probably supposed to put aside 20 hours a week on, to do the classes, to do the assignments, reading, and everything like this. But even though you are expecting this, nothing really prepares you for the real thing. Like, you think it's going to be intense, but it's not as intense as you think, but it's not. I mean, you think it's going to be intense, but wait till you get there. It's all I can tell you. But having said that, I don't want to scare you away because it is doable. And lots of people have done it over the years, and I myself have also done it. You do really need to have a good support network of people around you, whether that's your classmates, whether that's lecturers you can reach out to, or just your family and friends. You have to really learn to manage your time. And, people talk about time management as a skill, but it really becomes a skill when you're doing 40 hours work and then studying and trying to fit everything in there. You learn to prioritize things. Like there are certain things that probably don't need to be done today. Like, for example, the laundry can wait a few more days. The dirty dishes in the sink can wait a few more days. And I've definitely waited like weeks before I got my chores done. So there are just certain things that you deprioritize. But if you have a partner or someone living with you at home, then maybe make sure that they are okay with what you're doing before just going ahead and leaving laundry on the floor and dirty dishes everywhere.
I think that's wonderful advice, not just for prospective students, but for all of us. Thank you, Cindy. So I wondered, Tony, we've heard from a student perspective around that workload. Could you tell us a little bit more about the delivery of the program and also the workload and the expectations from the side of an academic?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, I'd like to emphasize it's an applied course. So as Cindy, has pointed out already, you can learn something in the lecture on Monday evening and apply it in the workplace on the Tuesday. So relevant to that is all the discussion and interactions that we have. So typically, yes, there'll be readings and there'll be case studies. So there will be preparation to do. But what we've tried to do is design the program so it's fairly uniform throughout the year. So with the 6 terms and the 12 papers that you do, the workload is spread evenly throughout the year. And same with the PCE, particularly for our part-timers. To focus in on the individual lecturers, and they're all what we call, to a certain extent, academics. So yes, they have research or MBA degrees, doctorates and so on. But crucially, they've also got real-world experience. So they can inform and lead the discussions where necessary, although very often the discussions within the group are organic. Students bounce off each other, they come up with their own ideas, and so on and so forth in terms of that.
Thank you.
One more point I would like to say is, as Cindy has said, yeah, a lot of students have got through it. So I'd possibly like to highlight that. We've been running the MBA online for 10 years, coming up to 26 cohorts, and we've graduated over 500 students from the online program.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So what I've heard is that it's a very intensive journey, but it seems like you get into that momentum and then it's all over and you graduate and you miss all that pressure. So I would like to now turn to you, Helen, to ask you a question about, from a faculty perspective. I want to know, because I know that you've got excellent reviews from our students. How do you make a subject like accounting exciting?
Oh, it's so easy. I mean, I think students kind of fear my paper in the beginning because numbers probably isn't their strength and they've avoided financial management through most of their career to that point. But it's about learning. In the classroom, we engage through groups together online and we look at real life cases. So we look at Tesla and Meta, we look at their financial statements, unpack them. And we break down concepts that might have been a little bit hard to understand maybe earlier into pieces of information that are easy to interpret, and then the students understand those concepts and they're able to apply them to a range of businesses with different industries. So it's a very practical approach to learning and understanding accounting.
Thank you, Helen. That makes accounting sound just a little bit less intimidating, so thank you for that.
Great.
So as what was mentioned, our teaching team are not just subject experts. They, like Helen, like Tony, they are very passionate about their subjects and they have this real world experience. But something that really has come up again and again in our graduate opinion survey is the fact that aside from that lecturer excellence, our team, our lecturing team really care. They care about your learning. They care about you achieving your ambitions. And they are so supportive along the journey. So I just wanted to remind you of that. The journey may be hard, but you've got so many resources at your disposal. So aside from just acknowledging our wonderful teaching team, who we really appreciate, and they provide you with an excellent foundation, I also want to share a little bit more with you around other support networks that you have at your disposal. So as was mentioned, your cohort is one of your greatest areas of support. You guys are in it together, and I think that really forges such strong bonds, and people really look out for each other, and sort of, you know, just make sure everybody gets through. It's that collective effort that we emphasize. So you've got your cohort. You also have us, the whole MBA team. MBA admin is here behind the scenes. We've also got an online development manager who looks after a tech support team. So when you go onto your online classes, there's tech support in every class. So just in case you have any technical problems, they're right there to help you. We also have a wonderful subject librarian, and his name is Scott. He's always happy to help with your sort of deep dives into particular areas for assignments and projects. We also have resources that provide fantastic academic support, help you with your academic writing and how to structure around projects. So we have also this bigger university ecosystem of support that's available to you. So you are not alone. You're definitely not alone in this journey. Now we're going to look at how does the Otago MBA enhance your career pathway? And I think this is a question for you again, Cindy. You mentioned about the money, you mentioned about the transition. Tell us about how the MBA kind of opens doors for you.
Yeah, so obviously it helped me get a different job in a different field, which was what I really wanted, with more money, of course. And it's not just that, because I think when I first started this whole thing, I thought, oh, I'm just going to get this piece of paper and then I'll move on. But it's not just having this piece of paper isn't just showing that, oh, this person can study or they can read some papers or they can attend some classes. It's also what it represents to people, and whether that's prospective employers or the people around you. The fact that you would do something like that, that's hard, but you still would do it and you would still complete it. Shows certain things, like for example, it shows that you have certain skills, like you're hardworking, you're ambitious, you're driven, you're motivated, like different. It's not just whether you can study or whether you're a smart person or not, but it's all these other skills that's also really important in today's world. Having a job isn't just whether you can do the job anymore. It's all these extra things. And then learning about yourself was one thing that I didn't expect. Obviously, I know who I am. I know my skills, my strengths, but you get to know where your limits are, and you'll be surprised that it's not where you think it is, because you'll get there and then you can actually go even further and you can actually go even higher. And that is what really surprised me and some of our classmates as well. Like when we first started, we thought we could maybe do it, but then when you finish doing it, or even if you decide not to finish doing it, just that whole journey of learning new things, new skills, meeting new people would help you in ways that you wouldn't expect.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So what you've really articulated so well there is what we do around developing employability. So we take your career seriously. We know this is why you come to do the MBA, and we want to make sure that you get returns on that. So we really focus on developing career capital. Career capital, there are 3 areas. It's about developing your know-how, it's about developing your know-why, and it's also about your developing your know-whom. So firstly, in terms of knowing how, we really deepen those technical skills and add to your sort of suite of tools, your capabilities, your competencies that you can practice in the workplace. That also gives you confidence to launch to whatever's next for you in your career path. Then in terms of knowing why, that's that area of personal growth and transformation that Cindy mentioned. And our lecturer for transformational leadership, Vicky, she challenges you to really know yourself. And like Cindy says, what a wonderful discovery when you find out that your limitations aren't where you thought they were. A beautiful discovery there. And then the knowing whom, that is that social capital that is built around our program. You've got the support network of success. You've got experts that you can draw on. The people in your cohort are experts in their field. So you can draw on that expertise as well, even beyond your MBA journey. You also will have connections in all these different industries. And there are so many diverse industries that are represented in our cohorts. So lots of connections and lots of wonderful opportunities around the development of your social capital and your networking. I wonder if anyone else would like to add to that. Tony, could you tell us a little bit about the alumni?
Oh, sure, yeah. So you may recall I mentioned that we're established the MBA here at Otago. It was the first MBA, 1976 it started. So next year is a really great year to get involved with the MBA because we'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary. And it's always surprising how over the years, how many alumni have stayed in touch. So, you know, alumni from over 30 years ago still contact us, say, can we come on campus? Can we meet up with the current students and so on? But alongside that, we've got this ever increasing online alumni. So, for example, 2 weeks ago, we held an event in Auckland where around 35, 40 of our online alumni came and met us and met each other, of course, from different cohorts. We had one person there from online cohort 1 right through to current students who are based in Auckland. So all sharing their experiences, all offering each other advice and so on. So yeah, great environment, great support mechanisms, and we're always drawing on them for guest speakerships, helping us identify projects, PCEs, and so on. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you. And Helen, I think I recall that you once said to me that Otago MBA grads open doors for each other.
Yeah, definitely. We sort of joke at Otago about the Otago Mafia, which is essentially graduates who've gone out, and new graduates coming into the workplace will connect with those people who are already out there, and they do help each other to find roles and to, you know, get into the workplace in a way that is really, really nice. And I think all of our Otago graduates are fantastic ambassadors, both for our university and also for each other in terms of growing careers and supporting one another.
Lovely, thank you so much. And Cindy, I recall that when you were doing your process of researching different programs, you spoke to some of our alumni, and they encouraged you to do the Otago Online MBA program. I'm wondering, is it something that you would recommend to your friends, to your family?
Yeah, for sure. I'm so glad that my friend recommended. Well, he did. He went through the whole thing and he really liked it and he recommended it to me. And now I'm going to recommend it to everyone else because it has been a really amazing experience for me.
Wonderful. I think you're sounding a little bit nostalgic. So I think it's a good time to speak about lifelong learning. We're big on lifelong learning at Otago Business School. And, you know, a lot of our MBA graduates continue their studies with the doctorate in business administration. Cindy, is this something that we might see in your future?
I mean, that sounds so interesting, but let me go lie down for a few years after completing this MBA before I'll get back to you on that.
Perfect. You deserve the rest. And also, just as long as you stay connected, that's all good. Wow. So now we are going to look at some application and interview tips. Areas such as what makes your application stand out and how do you prepare, and key steps around the admission. So I'm going to ask you, Tony, what advice would you give to people who are preparing for that application process? What tips do you have?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Tonya. Well, I think the first step is to get that MBA online application form filled in. And then the next stage is the Otago admissions test, which I've already mentioned. So, you know, received a case study in advance, analyze it for a week or so, come along to the test, and we ask you a few questions around that. In terms of the interview, it's more exploring your motivations for doing the MBA, why you think it's a good time in terms of this particular point in your career, what experience, what expertise could you bring to the other students on the cohort, and really where you might see the MBA taking us. So one thing we're not trying to do is trick you or catch you out or anything like that. We're genuinely interested in seeing, you know, what we can do for you, but also what you can do for the MBA. Thank you, Tonya.
Thank you so much, Tony. I'd just like to remind our guests who are joining us, please, I hope you're posting your questions in the chat, and we'll see how we can cover those. Thank you. Now I'm going to ask you, Helen, about the graduate attributes. What are these graduate attributes, and why are they important?
Yes, certainly. So the graduate attributes, they are goals that we have for learning for all of our students. And in the MBA, there's a range of attributes that ideally our students will graduate with that go from, you know, your global perspective, your ability to lead, your ability to think strategically and to grow a team that can work alongside you, being a critical thinker, right? So in today, the workplace, we're constantly being challenged with new questions that we need to answer and being able to come up with solutions really quickly in a way that's informed, being self-motivated and being able to work together in a team. These are all really critical skills that we hope to develop as our MBAs go through the program.
Thank you, Helen. And I think we really deliver on those attributes. You only have to look at our graduates like Cindy, and you can see that embodying of all of these wonderful attributes. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I also think that these attributes are, they are enduring, and they are a fantastic preparation for the continuously changing world of work. We've had a question. I think I'm going to throw this to you, Helen, about the world of work. One of our students, our prospective students, is a pharmacist, and he was wondering about career opportunities that will be open to him as a pharmacist who's completed then an MBA.
Thank you so much. So what the MBA is going to do, it's going to teach you how to think strategically, identify new products, develop market strategy, lead your team, and really become an executive manager. So coming out of pharmacy, you could go into any area of health science and grow that market share, grow that product development, and lead people to grow the business. So it opens up all sorts of doors for you.
Thank you. Thanks, Helen. Before we wrap up our session, I'm now going to ask our panelists to offer any concluding comments. Please, could we start with you, Cindy?
I would say just try it out. You won't regret it. You'll be surprised by how much you can achieve and what you're actually capable of.
Thank you. Tony?
Yes, I'd just echo what Cindy said. Apply, see what happens. We'd love to welcome you on the course, share our program with you, and you share your experiences with us. And I look forward to welcoming you on the program.
Wonderful. And for you, Helen?
Sure. Otago is the #1 university in New Zealand. We have the best MBA online program in the world. I have no doubt in my mind about that. Come and join us in 2026. We would love to see you become another MBA graduate from Otago Whakaihu Waka at the University of Otago.
Thank you. So now just a special thank you to all of our panelists, and a special thank you to our very special guest, Cindy. Thank you for being available, joining, and sharing your personal experiences with us. It was most inspiring, so thank you so much. I also want to thank the people behind the scenes who helped put this together. Thank you for all your mahi. And then also I want to thank you, the guests who have joined us, our prospective students. I think my message to you is to just please apply, make that move. It starts here. I hope that we have in our conversation today answered most of your questions, but we really welcome you. We invite you to get in touch. Get in touch and we can chat through further with you if you've got any other concerns or questions. We'd love to connect with you, and we look forward to welcoming you to our Otago MBA family. Thank you so much, and goodbye to everyone.